Alright, welcome back. This was the Bit-Mage. Welcome to SAS X14. Today I'm going to talk about overthinking. Whenever I talk about these sort of videos, I usually end up weaponizing them somehow, weaponizing the concept under concern. Right now, being overthinking. This is the objective for this video as well, explicitly. I've done this implicitly a couple of times before in my life. So I've done one for cognitive dissociative order. Personality dissociative order, not a disorder, an order. I've done that before. Overthinking is something that bugs a lot of people. It's actually been highlighted for a lot of states of the mind. Could be anxiety, could be worrying a lot, that sort of stuff. Thinking about the same things again and again. So of course there's a philosophical way of looking at it, seeing things as not in your control, the whole stoicism angle. There might be some CBT or I don't know, psychological way of looking at things. There might be some tooling like that, but then I am the kind of guy who sort of likes experimenting, and I have been experimenting with this concept itself. I also am sort of prone to thinking quite a lot. I have a channel based on just my thoughts, where I speak into the void, and no one would potentially listen to them. So these just random thoughts that go into the void, where I sort of think about stuff generically. I do have a lot of pursuits to handle my overthinking. There's a whole bunch of vlogs, there's writing. I do put stuff out in the public. I do write privately as well. The amount of content I generate for the world, for myself, for no one, for everyone, all sorts of content. It's quite a lot. So whenever I sort of break something down, let's see what overthinking actually is. I don't think this is territory where you cannot scientifically define stuff. Thinking is of course the usual stuff, what you think. That is probably an axiom that we can sort of begin to choose. Overthinking is when your thinking is out of control. I'd like to put it like that. When you actually can't stop thinking when you want to stop thinking. Now this is the predicate, this is the function, this is the state that we should sort of we could dive into. The idea of not being able to stop your thinking is what it is. So why do you want to stop it? What exactly is stopping you from stopping thinking? So what are you getting into? So what either happens is there's probably the same thought again and again. So that means you have certain questions. You have certain questions that are unanswered about the thought, about that particular thought. So a way to deal with that is being okay with not having answers all the time. Now this is particularly difficult, given I'm a pretty curious guy. I ask quite a lot of questions. I do have a lot of questions about life in general. What overthinking has forced me to do is to be okay with the idea of not knowing answers to all of my questions in a moment in time. To know that I'll get an answer soon, sometime, somehow. This usually comes with experience. You have to sort of chase a lot of answers. You have to understand that everything takes time. You have to understand the patience that goes into sort of grasping an answer. Even if you get one right away, even if something's right in front of your eyes, you still have to spend some time understanding it. So the idea of time, idea of needing time to understand something and to actually get an answer to a thought, so that you don't have the question again and again, that is one mindset shift that you'll need to incorporate to sort of understand your own overthinking. So yeah, probably just thinking that you don't know something, or you don't quite have a solution to something, or you haven't quite thought about something, or you don't have a plan. You might just add yet. You don't have a plan yet. You don't have a solution yet. You haven't answered the question for yourself yet. You're still in the process of finding stuff. That gives you an idea of a progression. And of course, life is exploratory in nature. A lot of it is exploratory in nature. There's no defined paths. There's no defined maps for a lot of things out there. So you are bound to understand new things, see a lot of things, see a lot of novel stuff for you in the context of that thought, if you sort of are aware of what you're actually looking for. And how do you be aware of what you're looking for? So the first shift that we need to do is sort of move on from seeking answers immediately, from chasing answers immediately, to being okay with them coming to you over time. You arriving where the answers are over time, slowly, or I don't know, smoothly is a better word, I guess. So yeah, that's that, and that's the first mindset shift. To be okay with not having the answers right now. So that way, you sort of delegate your thought to the future. Now, this is something that I explicitly do. This is something to be aware of. This is something that I explicitly do with the notion of a thunk. Thinking is what you do in the present, or you process in the present. There's a notion of a thunk in computer science where you delegate to the future, where you delay the computation, the processing of a certain amount of recipe for thoughts, certain amount of ways of thinking with the context into the future. So how I exactly do this? I've got a Getting Things Done workflow. Getting Things Done is a book by David Allen. So I have that workflow implemented in Emacs. I use a single file to manage all of that. If you're interested, do check out the blog for all stuff about Emacs. So I mean, just in the search bar type in Emacs and you'll get everything. My dot files also probably have it, the thunk. So it's a thunk. Rather than having to think everything right now, what you can do best is write it down. I type it down in a GTD file as a thunk. I capture it as a thunk. So what goes into the thunk is the question that I have right now, any links, any context, any more information that I'd like to put in with that question, that goes into a capture. And I batch process these thunks regularly. Let's say every week, every weekend, every Friday night, or every Saturday afternoon, I sort of batch process these thunks. I do a lot of batch processing, cognitive batch processing, every weekend. And what usually happens is a lot of these thunks, they answer themselves in a couple of days. They just show me the answer themselves. It's only a couple of thunks that need to be carried forward. The rest of them can be ticked off in the moment. So yeah, and a lot of them, probably 30 to 40% of them, are just solved by themselves by moving ahead in the thing that I was doing. So just moving ahead with certain black box assumptions. Being okay with black box assumptions in the moment, so not going fundamental right away in everything. That's what helps you save time. So this is one sort of big way to save time, using the idea of thunks cognitively. It does exist in computer science by the idea of delaying and forcing computation. So I'm delaying thoughts into thunks later on, and I'm forcing computation at the end of the week. That's processing. So, and if I do not get a satisfying answer, after, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes of thinking about the thunk, I document the thunk again with more information. So that thunk keeps on growing, but then I do document what was not worth it. And documenting how you failed to reach a good answer is also important, because that's what most of overthinking is. You are usually just running around in circles, thinking the same stuff again and again, the same problems again and again, the same abstractions again and again. So if you are able to sort of document where you went wrong, what is not going to lead you there, and be detailed about it, because in the future the mind is a very powerful persuader for itself. However your mind is however good of a salesman you are, however bad of a salesman or saleswoman you are, the influencing stuff, it's always you are always going to be good at convincing and influencing yourself. So let's say if you believe that what you're seeing right now is new, what you're thinking right now is new, if you don't have the details with you as to what you thought in the last time, you're just going to run around in circles again. So it's best just to document the most. Journaling. I do have a couple of videos, a couple of sasses on the idea of journaling or logging. Logging in itself is such a core meta habit that sort of affects all of your life. So logging, irrespective of if you do it in public or if you do it privately, is something very important. So those are the couple of ways that I just expressed how to tackle overthinking. Now this is dealing with it. What you could do is also weaponize it. So thinking out loud rapidly to start enjoying thought is what I've been getting into recently. I mean, why treat thought as overthinking as something negative? Who said it was negative? I mean, it might distract you from what you actually want to do by being a time sink. But then you could reframe overthinking in a way that thinking actually becomes your main goal, your main pursuit for a particular slot in your day, for a particular slot of the day. So whatever I do during these sasses, these serendipity as a service is usually thinking freely, without boundaries, thinking without constraints. So that usually helps with just processing all of my thoughts that are there and I haven't penned down. What happens again during the day right now that I've got into the habit of doing these, I usually get in like 3 or 4 of these weekly now. 30-minute psychological cognitive rambles, like 3 or 4 days a week when I'm anyway having coffee. Now this is not something that's a productivity sink. It's actually sort of helping me process my thoughts much better. So whenever I have, say, a random thought or a random idea during the day, I'm just like, yeah, this could be a small section in my video tomorrow, and I do not stress about remembering it. I'm like, if it's important enough, it's going to pop up again. And it does usually happen. It's been rare that I thought something was important and it did not pop up again. But then, well, that's a very biased way to look at it, because if I did forget about it, I'll not remember the failures. I'm not aware of my failures of remembering stuff. But yeah, anecdotally speaking, in a very biased manner, if something is important, it does show up again. It does show up again. If for me to realize it has failed, it has to show up again sometime to understand that it failed in the past. But it does show up sometimes. So that's the thing. So weaponizing thought, weaponizing overthinking, weaponizing basal thoughts. That is something that you should consider getting into. The first half of this video, the first stage of this video, I just talked about how you could sort of deal with it, how you could process it better, how you could handle it better. It was a lot about acceptance. Those are words that people like me sort of don't like. Acceptance. I mean, why do you want to just accept? Why not make the world accept you, huh? So yeah, acceptance. I mean, we all have to grow sometime. I had to grow up sometime. So I mean, those are the sort of words I have to use. It's even though however much I hate it, I had to accept that I'll not have all the answers right away all the time. So that's one thing. That's one sort of mindset shift that you'll need. I mean, you can sort of reframe it as being wise, rather than saying that you're accepting stuff. So that's a better way of framing it for your own ego. So yeah, I'm just wiser right now. I don't accept stuff. I am just wiser in terms of how I deal with answers, not having answers. Wise and ambitious at the same time. Yeah. So that's one way of looking at it. The second way of looking at it is being ambitious and wise. So initially you were wise and ambitious. Now you have to be ambitious and wise. You have to weaponize stuff. How are you ambitious? You sort of weaponizing. You're weaponizing stuff. You're trying to use it. You're trying to abstractly monetize it. Monetize in the sense create value out of it. So how do I do that? These sasses are geared towards the human mind in itself is pretty amazing. Cognition in general is pretty amazing. I mean, if you let go of all of your constraints, and if you forget who you are for a moment, if you let go of your identity, this in itself as a compute engine, your brain in itself as a computer, a processing engine, uh, yeah, collection of neurons, it can do pretty random and amazing stuff. I mean, this is unscripted. Imagine imagine not knowing what you're going to utter in the next 5 seconds. Imagine the kind of power this brain holds. Imagine, yeah, just cooking stuff up in the moment. So that sort of power is what you already possess. Of course, you could hone it by reading more, by reading variedly, by reading stuff that skepticizes your own existing thoughts, stuff that challenges you, stuff that yeah, rather than getting into feedback loops, unhealthy feedback loops, just try reading a lot of varied stuff and try defending what you either have in mind, and if it can't be defended, then that means you found a better thought. So it's a win-win. If you actually defended your thought against a well-structured book, then yeah, you're good enough. You're a good enough critique to defend your thoughts against books, and your belief is going to be stronger. But then let's say if your belief is shaken and you actually find the new idea better, yeah, I mean, you got an upgrade. You found the better idea. You're overall better on the whole. So cognitively better. So that's that. So read a lot of varying stuff, challenging stuff, stuff that challenges your existing norms. So that's one way to sort of get better cognitively, and let that then flow. So trust your brain. So this shit in your head is sort of pretty powerful. Uh, yeah, actually, now that I think of it, the things that we try to force. I mean, if you just let your brain exist, it could do pretty amazing things. I'm right now, let's just letting it exist. I'm letting it do its thing. I'm just getting out of its way. I am not trying to control it, and it's doing sort of well. I am flowing in terms of how I am thinking about overthinking. So yeah, that's one thing. That's how you weaponize. You don't need to force weaponization of thought. You already are capable of it if you've been putting in the work. So putting in the work is one thing. So read a lot, of meaningful stuff. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to get into what's meaningful in terms of to read about. Yeah, I mean, just don't read the same sort of stuff again and again. Just observe higher order patterns, and don't read the same stuff again and again. That's one thing. So the second way to weaponize thought is to analyze it, to dissect it, to over-engineer the shit out of it. How do you do that? Well, I personally am doing it. I'm doing that with writing. Writing is a very interesting way to yeah, to analyze yourself in instances, to analyze yourself in hindsight. So your analysis powers are much stronger in hindsight, where you have more context than in the present or in the future. Uh, so your historical analysis powers, capabilities are much better than you trying to understand what is happening right now. So what happened 10 minutes ago, 18 minutes ago, whenever I was just started rambling, I am in a much better position right now to understand what I actually structured and went through, and see my mind's working in hindsight than I could say right now. Then I could do anything to say sort of understand that right now. So that indexing your thoughts, a lot of video essays. I do process a lot of transcripts, and I am working with sort of creating a vector store as well for these video essays, for the blogs that I write, for anything that I produce in an index, so that I can better search it. So all of these meta operations, having a data structure for your own cognition, knowledge graphs for your own cognition, how you're doing stuff. So it all comes down to logging smartly. I mean, you probably don't just want to just write down random stuff. I mean, there is a time and place for that. That is also a very useful way of doing things. It helps get out the noise out there, and then you can sort of analyze it in front of you and get the signal out. So you should probably have layers of logging. But yeah, having structured logs is also important, and not just metadata in the sense of timestamps and linearity, but then structuring your logs in itself in terms of graphs and indices and vectors and embeddings, and having abstractions over that to index them is going to help you weaponize your thought. So because I do video essays, and because I post them publicly, and because I have an audience to cater to, I am able to sort of force my mind to be better with its articulation. I am sort of forcing it to be better. I'm playing status games. I'm forcing it to play the game of status. I'm trying to, yeah, I'm pressurizing it in some ways, compared to, let's say, if I just talked out at the private. There would be no pressures. Of course I would improve, but then because I'm doing it publicly, I'm probably improving better. And the amount of reps that I put in again and again so there's a tricky balance. So I have to care enough to want to improve, but then also not care enough to sort of get into a perfectionism mindset and sort of lower the number of reps that I do. So if I was ashamed of the quality of thoughts that I'm having right now, I wouldn't sort of create this video, and yeah, I wouldn't be able to improve as much as I'm improving right now. So yeah, that sort of balance of mindset of just the right amount of stress, just the right amount of serendipity, just the right amount of comfort with stress. That is ideal for sort of weaponizing cognitive stuff, like the idea of overthinking. So yeah, structuring your logs, layering your logs. That's one very good way to understand what your mind is all about. Know thyself. Usually, that's what I let direct. That's the thing that mostly directs me. Know thyself. That adage, that aphorism. And yeah, I've got tooling with me. I am into math. I'm into computer science. I'm into just thinking in general, understanding stuff in general, observations. So why not apply it on yourself? Why not apply it intrinsically? Why just extrinsically? So yeah, using that on yourself is sort of helpful. That's yeah. So we've covered two modes of dealing with overthinking. One is the wise and ambitious way. Be accepting of it, but still be ambitious in your accepting, in that you're going to get there somewhere, and it usually does happen in an experience. You just want to experience it. So that is not something that will have an assurance right away. You'll not probably believe the assurance right away, but then you'll have to experience it. And the second is the ambitious and wise way. Over-engineer the shit out of your thoughts, and then be wise about it. Then talk about it in a humble manner, like I am doing it right now. So that's that. Yeah. Why do I create videos like that? Because what I usually feel is off is a lot of things that are framed as negative could easily be weaponized or turned into cognitive tooling that sort of help you. So there's this idea of overthinking, there's this idea of self-doubt. Self-doubt could also be engineered in a different way to sort of help you out. You just need to put in the discipline of structuring your thoughts better, understanding yourself. So know thyself. That idea of know thyself as to, yeah, just asking the right questions and being okay with asking questions, having a certain level of comfort with the ideal amount of discomfort and stress. That's usually the trick to sort of weaponizing your weaknesses. If you are, say, sort of an optimizer in the sense, mathematical optimizer, or a generic optimizer as well. The area that you're weakest in, the area that shows the most discomfort, that means the cognitive slope out there is the highest. So you could probably, given some effort, make the most amount of leaps in altitude or optimality if you progress in that direction. So your weaknesses generally are the places where, if you put in some effort, you could sort of step ahead quite a lot, and you could sort of balance out your whole personality in a way that, let's say, if you just focus on your strengths and you let your weaknesses stay, there's a whole lot of holes around you. So try, of course, work on your strengths as well. Working on your strengths is what it's not just about the percentages that you are in, it's also about the percentiles. So that's one thing to remember. That's why working on strengths is important, to sort of set you apart. But so a lot of weaknesses can be flipped around and weaponized pretty easily. It's not a linear path. It's sort of it's like a mirror image, not even an exponential path. It's sort of a flip. It's a momentary. It's something that can happen at the snap of your fingers. So weaponizing cognitive debts, overthinking, self-doubt, dissociative disorder. If you have multiple personalities, you could also use those. Just be aware. Just create one more personality that is aware of all of them and orchestrates those. Probably have a dinner table in your own mind, and you could do a whole bunch of stuff. So that's that. The higher the undercurrent of this video was understanding how to reframe cognitive stuff to sort of actually better use it. But then I'll summarize the higher level stuff as well, the superficial stuff as well. We got into overthinking. We discussed two ways to deal with it. One is the wise and ambitious way, so supporting your tooling with a certain level of acceptance and wisdom. And second is using tooling to enable your ambition. So that is the ambitious and the wise way. Wise and ambitious, ambitious and wise. So that's that. I usually do both. Anytime I do anything, I usually do both. There's a wise and ambitious way of doing things, where whatever all your tooling sort of helps you. You use that to sort of just deal with it. And second is you use your tooling to carve your own way. Both are necessary, both are important, because the cause we'll get into some other time. That's it. That was on overthinking. This was SAS X14, not 14, mind you, because we're not talking decimal. This is hex. So we need a naming system for hex. We should probably invent one. If you're into the technical stuff, that's the Bit-Mage.com. If you're into the cognitive stuff, I am engineering cognitive infrastructure at conware.com. Thanks for tuning in. This was the Bit-Mage. See you in the next one.